Okay. So this is our very first podcast, and we're just going to talk about RPGs for a bit. So tabletop role-playing games that we both like. And I'm only playing Faraway Land right now. Troika, I guess, soon, depending on when the GM decides that he's going to switch us back to Troika. So what are you playing right now?
Well, first, what do you think of Faraway Land?
I like it. I really like Faraway Land. It's fun, and it doesn't feel too crunchy for me.
So is it the mechanics you like or the setting?
Both, I think. I really like the whimsical nature of it. Like we're encountering pumpkins, the little pumpkin people. They're so cute. And it's pretty simple, the kind of dice pool system. I guess the fact that there's a bot on our Discord channel really helps because I don't have to really think too hard. I just, run the bot.
Yeah, so the macros probably help. How would you compare Faraway Land to Troika?
I'm not even sure I could at this point. All I can remember about Troika right now is that it's a little more bizarro. Like the characters are different, but I can't for the life of me even remember what we were rolling or anything about the mechanics. I just remember the bizarre nature of the setting and the adventure.
Yeah, I would probably follow along that line that they're both whimsical. So it's like they're both sort of the same, but yet completely different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because Faraway Land is whimsical and it's like you can imagine these creatures, but even in the character creation, I couldn't even imagine or picture any of these characters until I saw the pictures in the Troika rulebook, if that makes sense, because I couldn't visualize, even in my wildest imagination, what this would look like.
So you think that the artwork, the art style of Troika is an important part of the game?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure I would have enjoyed it as much or been able to lean into it as much without having seen the art beforehand. I mean, that'd be an interesting thing to know if it's different for anybody else because nobody else has a rule book in our session, right?
No, I don't. Well, I don't know, but I don't think so.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I only got mine by happenstance.
Yeah, I thought I wouldn't want to switch from Faraway Land, but the longer we've gone away from Troika, what I've noticed is we'll come across situations in Faraway Land and we'll reference our Troika characters a little bit. Like with, in Troika, we got a fungus fever from eating something, and then we ran across fungus in Faraway Land, and we're like, nope, not eating that.
Yeah, that's an unintended consequence. I didn't expect there to be the bleed through there was. I mean, it makes sense, but there is some bleed through. So, for disclosure, we were part of a troika for I don't know about four sessions, and then we switched to a completely separate campaign with different characters for Faraway Land. But the comparison keeps coming into my mind because there's some similarities and yet some drastic differences, but it's so hard to explain.
Yeah, it's hard to explain without having played both, I think.
It's hard enough to explain one of them, but I think the Faraway Land is a more fully fleshed out role playing game that could be plugged into any setting. Whereas maybe Troika, while you could use it with any setting, I mean, the setting is almost Dream Park in the way it's set up, but like it's simple, but it's not really dynamic.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It does seem like Faraway Land is a whole world where you could just go on forever and ever. I mean, even the adventure we're doing, I'm pretty sure that that's not all canon, and it's just kind of because we keep doing various things and the GM keeps introducing new elements into the adventure. But you could run it just forever if you wanted to.
I think that has a lot to do with the particular group and the chemistry between the players and the GM. That openness that occurs to just kind of go in whatever direction without being led by the nose. And we were like that with Troika to some degree, but there was definitely a here's your end goal, where with Faraway Land there is no end goal. That's just the adventure's slightly different.
Well, in that, was it the first adventure we did where we just had to get to our room or something? That was the adventure?
Well, and that was the absurdity of Troika, is that this whole
Mhm.
adventure was just getting from the lobby to your room on whichever floor we had to get to. And as someone trying to run that, I had no idea what I was doing or what I was gonna expect, and it just ran itself, really.
Well, what was kind of interesting for me as a player was the goal of getting to the room where usually something like that would be like you're like, "Okay, it's an interim thing. We got to the room. We're gonna heal up, get some food, yada yada." But it was like, "Oh, you got to the room. You made it. Well done."
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, we barely made it. I mean, it seemed like we barely made it because it got pretty hairy.
Troika leaves a lot open to interpretation, and in a way, like, where you could do it with any system, but in Troika, that setting that they've created, it it doesn't define a lot, so that, as you're playing, that's when things get defined. Whereas in Faraway Land, the the setting is already defined, but there's still a mutual storytelling that happens, and things like even the history of a race like the Pumpkins is kind of developing on its own. I don't have that much specific information.
Yeah. And actually, in Faraway Land, we were able to introduce, did we just get one new player during the Faraway Land session or two? I can't remember. Is it just
I think
one?
two. We
Two?
had we had one character come in maybe after the first jungle adventure.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. That's right. But I don't know if it's maybe just the prowess of the GM, but it was kind of like Faraway Land kind of made it seem like it's seamless to introduce new characters at any point in time. You could just, finagle it to work. So, oh, look, suddenly this character's here.
I guess it worked out that way. I'm not sure if that's the system or the adventure or the
And
prowess of the GM.
well, he's a pretty good GM.
Hmm.
But what's also interesting to me, and it could be just because of my own lack of being able to remember, is I've done this adventure before and this is completely different. And I couldn't remember like anything that would give me an advantage or, and maybe that was by design.
Yeah, I think in a way that is a sign of a good adventure, although they don't all have to be that way, where you can go through the same adventure multiple times and really not have an advantage because you know something, because it's not story driven. And there's
Interesting. So
also,
when you say that, what do you mean?
so if you think of, say, the intro adventure for Legendary Adventures, which or Legendary Adventure, there's no plural. It there is where you kind of have a line that you go through. You're taking a chest from point A to point B, and you pass through these encounters. So while it may not give you a huge advantage, you might know what to expect, especially at the end where there's a twist.
Hmm.
As opposed to in the case of the Faraway Land adventure, which is Isle of the Rat Wizard, the there's just this is what's here, and then what do you do? And it never, I don't think it ever occurred to me when we started that we'll just explore the jungle. No, instead, the first time I ran it, everybody just went straight to the bad guy and fought him, so we're done in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, now we've spent what, 6 sessions to 12 hours we've spent on this island.
Mm-hmm.
So but we've discovered so many more things. There's a hidden shrine and
We even
the
discovered a
rattling.
little more about the pumpkins too, and their origins and stuff.
That's right. What did you think about their origins?
It was neat, if not a little on the nose. But
How do you mean?
it's well, I don't want to give any spoilers,
Okay.
but it was nice to, I guess, have we have a pumpkin in our party this time, which didn't happen the first time I played this. So the pumpkins were really just, NPCs. Okay, something happened to them, we'll help them and whatever. But this time it feels like we're more invested in them as a species and even invested in all the other species on the island, which didn't happen the first time. Like you said, we got the hook and we just went for it.
Well, if you think how different people can go through things based on circumstance and who's playing, there's more than one factor involved. If you remember, we played through that cowboy adventure for Traveler,
Hmm.
and that was you with the mongoose first, or what we like to call Ricky Ticky Traveler.
Cute.
The 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 adventure, the first few times I was testing that adventure, I was trying to get it down for a convention play, but I was struggling to get it done in 4 hours. It was taking 8 hours, and I got it down to 6 hours, and I really couldn't seem to break that mark. But then when we ran it at a convention, we were done in like 3.5, just based on who was there. I didn't change anything.
That's true. And I mean, maybe it makes sense, but you had a smaller group at the convention when you ran it, right? Versus when we played it the first few times, we had quite a few people. What, 6 people? Or maybe I'm misremembering.
Well, I ran it so many times, and
Hmm.
you were in it multiple times, and so were some of the one of the other players was in it multiple times. In those cases, I shifted the enemies slightly, but the actual core of the adventure and how long it would take was basically should have been the same. The only thing that changed is what everybody chose to do. And when we did it at the convention, I didn't I didn't really do anything to try to railroad, but they took the hook and went. And I don't know that would happen with every convention group. But it just my point is that in group with group A, same adventure, we're done in 3 hours or so. It was like maybe 3.5, I forget. I know we were done early. And then another group, you're struggling at 8 hours to really even tie it up.
Yeah.
Maybe
And the
that's a
same.
GM flaw too. I'm not sure.
Well, I think, depending on the number of people and the personalities of the people, if maybe they want to do some deeper investigation or they don't take the hook right away, then you can easily, especially in that adventure, burn hours and hours just kind of wandering if you don't want to immediately take the hook of it.
It's true. But it's not unlike what we were talking about with the Isle of the Rat Wizard in that there is a quick goal if you want to just go for it and complete the adventure. And then there's a setting that you can just explore. And what I'm enjoying in the faraway land is that everybody's exploring it together. Like none of us, even the person running it, doesn't have like intimate knowledge. So as we come across things, it's new for everyone.
Well, and it's kind of when we started, like the island seemed like this tiny little place that people shipwreck on, but it's kind of taken on a life of its own little like ecosystem. And it's in my mind anyway, it's grown larger and larger. And like it's like a whole little world for us right now, instead of just being this like little pit stop along the way. Oh, look, a deserted island or a shipwrecked island. It's got life everywhere, and every week we discover more things. We befriend creatures, or we kill the creatures, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it this second time around.
Hmm. And do you think that that particular adventure that you're on, or at least the little mini setting you're in, does it have an enemy now?
Honestly, I guess after the last session, I can't think of an enemy. I don't think right now there is one.
Does the lack of an enemy or an enemy being there change how you go forward?
Well, I mean, I don't I don't know. Maybe there is an enemy out there that we just haven't come across yet. Like, I think we still haven't accomplished one of the bigger goals. So until we do that, that's kinda gonna drive me forward anyway. Once we complete that, though, I don't know. Maybe that's when the character just decides if they're gonna stay on the island or try to go off, do something else.
Hmm. Well, I'm not sure how long we've been going, but I'm pretty sure it's at least 10 minutes now. Maybe 15.
I think so. Do you wanna wrap it up?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
wrap this up. How do you want to wrap it up?
With a bow.
How do you know if it's a bow or a bow?
I don't know. If it breaks, it's a bow,
Well, it was fun. We kind of took off on our own tangents.
which is what I was hoping. I was hoping that we would just start discussing something and kinda go off from that, so we could just, sign off. I'm Dwenny. Dwenny. Oh my god, I can't even say my own name. We are Dwenny, I guess. I'm Jenny, and you're
Wait, and
thanks
this
for
is
listening.
our unnamed channel.
Name channel. Episode 1.
Cheers.